get into the papers now and start with the headlines this morning. And I have with me in the studio leadership and communication strategist Dr. John, as well as political technocrat Dr. Dayo Kayode. Gentlemen, it's the first Monday in 2020.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year again.
And
well, while saying Happy New Year to you, I'm so glad that I was identified with your successes and TVC successes are the best TV station of the year. Somebody just saw me and said, "Whoa, I like what you guys are doing on TVC."
We are all working together.
Being
That's
identified with that success. I hope this year too.
No,
TVC
it's a nice thing.
Go
It's a nice thing. Yeah, the industry is developing. That's what the essence is. All right, let's move on now. Daily Trust is where we start from, and a disturbing development here. 101 police killed in 2019. Rivers, Bayelsa, Edo, Kaduna lead the states with the casualty of fatality of police officers. And there's a breakdown here on the front page, which certainly I like. There's a comparison between Nigeria and South Africa. And the number of police killed in Nigeria is 101 for the year under review. And in South Africa, for the same period of time, is 71. And the estimated number of police officers in Nigeria, 400,000. Population estimated at 200,000. For South Africa, estimated number of police officers, 100,000. And the population is 59 million. Okay, I guess my guests would like to talk about this as we get along on the show. From there, let's go to the Blueprint. Blueprint newspaper. Assets declaration, Serap gives Buhari or Shibaju, 72 others, 7-day ultimatum. 7-day ultimatum for assets declaration. Okay, this is another very interesting discussion for my guests and even Nigerians. From there, let's go to the Business AM. Business AM this morning says anxiety in Nigeria, in Nigerian microfinance banks as investor apathy mars recapitalization drive. That's what you see on the Business AM this morning. All right, from there, let's go to the Daily Times. The Daily Times says PDP others kick as NERC denies hike in electricity tariff. I say increase in electricity tariff will worsen suffering of Nigerians. We'll consult with stakeholders before final decision on review of tariff is effected. NERC, okay. It was already on their website, and but it's okay. It's the way things are done around here. From the Daily Times, let's go now to News Direct. News Direct says credit to private sector jumps by 14.36% in 1 year to 26.4 trillion naira. That's the CBN revealing all of this as leading banks fail December 30, 2019 deadline on LDR. And the banks growing LDR responsible. Analysts are saying this. Okay, those are some of the stories and the headlines this morning. Now, gentlemen, let's go to the story on the Daily Trust where we started from, where it was talking about 101 police officers killed in the line of duty in 2019, where Rivers, Bayelsa, Edo, Kaduna are leading the pack where all of this happened. I wonder how challenging it is to be a police officer in a country like Nigeria where where a lot of things are not the way they are supposed to when it comes to equipping the police and all of that. Doctor, let me start with you on this.
it is extremely challenging. It is not, police in Nigeria is not a job, quote unquote, that anybody wants to actually voluntarily get into. Majority of my friends that are in the police today joined the police because it was certain there was no option. It was certain they were going to spend 20 years in the house after graduation, so they had to jump into it. The reality of what we have in the Nigeria police today, and I know you you know that I have a very fair understanding of the police in Nigeria. It is sad, Mike. Apart from the fact that these people lose their life virtually on a weekly basis, if we are just going to put that
on the average.
Yes, on the average. You see that when they don't have a reason to die for the country. In other words, if a policeman dies, from that police station, they have to take the letter to Abuja. Until the Inspector General of Police signs, gives an approval, he can't get his benefit. Imagine a policeman that died in my village, in Eseodo, local government of Ondo State. the file will have to get to the IG. It is the IG that will sign before you pay him his entitlement. Most of the time, these people don't get anything. If I don't want to come on television and do analysis of wages, if I do analysis of wages, you will be surprised. At the end of the day, what these people take home. Now, after retirement, there's no also hope. Because a commissioner of police after retirement goes home with, I think, something very, very small. There's a campaign in town now that all the retired commissioners, AIGs, all of them are coming to say, no, this is what we take home, and it's too small. There's no hope for an average policeman in Nigeria. And that is why you see they are brutal most of the time. Because when they see you drive a big car, they think in their head that you are part of those people who are actually punishing them. And they want to also deal with you. So until we take the issue of welfare very seriously, I doubt whether we are going to have the kind of police we desire. I told you that I did a course on public leadership. Everything I was taught in that course is about the UK police. And that suggested to me that the UK police is the symbol of the United Kingdom. So anywhere you get to, Buhari may sit in Abuja and say, I'm fighting crime, but I'm fighting corruption. But if the Nigeria police gets on the road and demands bribe, everybody thinks that the government is not fighting corruption because it is whatever the police does that translates into what the government does.
All right, Dr. Kayode, let us take it from that issue of fighting corruption. The police certainly is empowered by the Constitution to keep the standards when it comes to keeping security and also arrests and all of that. I wonder how, if what Dotun has said is anything to go by and we have to rely on that, I wonder how disturbing that is.
You see, it is highly disturbing though, but then if you look at the comparative analysis that that newspaper did as regards Nigeria and South Africa, you're going to see that it is still relatively lower in Nigeria than in South Africa. You don't look at the figures like that, or you look at the percentage. Do you understand? Even at that, I wouldn't subscribe to we losing our officers because they are all human beings and they are also within their profession, all right? Now, the issue is this. Number one, what kind of infrastructure do we have for these our police officers that they are using? Imagine the kind of, our police officer going around with all these 19th century ammunitions, and then you see all these bandits coming around with 21st century ammunitions. What do you expect? One. Two, we also need to look at the areas, the causes of the death of these our police officers. Were they being killed during electioneering activities, or were they being killed from maybe riot, or is their death through malnutrition? No, it's true. You got to look at all that. It could be malnutrition.
Malnutrition from where?
When you are not well paid.
This is a very serious issue.
Listen, when you are not well paid and you cannot afford to eat and all that, what happens? When you are not having good health facility, what happens? Even psychological stress can also cause a death. Well, when you don't have enough to take care of your family.
Yeah, the report is that this 101 police officers died in the line of duty. No. But certainly with the reports we have got, even from what Dr. has said, as much as the welfare of the police officer in Nigeria, an average police officer in Nigeria may not certainly be there, but when it comes to dying of malnutrition, I don't think that is the case.
No, let me tell you this. No, let me tell you this. I'm talking seriously now. Yeah. I have seen police officers where I stay, begging for money to eat. Because these are officers that are not ready to go to the streets and be disturbing Okada the way they disturb Okada in the night and collect money from them. All right? Elderly people begging for money to eat. You see some of them, they will go for electioneering activities. The money, the way he explained the other time, will come from up, down. And you can imagine what normally happens in this our country. When that money is passing through, some will be flowing by the side. Do you understand? And by the time it gets down, it will have turned to maybe trickle. Do you get? So it's a lot of problem.
All right, let's look forward to, because the statistics like this are meant to put the hierarchy and the authorities on alert when it comes to what can we do to. So let's hope that this report and discussions like this will help, trigger some level of impact on what should be done. Thank you very much.
I was expecting a poser, but then it's good that
Dotu begged me. And then you use your smile to captivate me.
That was why I started laughing, so it worked. Thank you.
I will give it
to Mike, right?
To Mike.
All right, now let's head straight to the papers, and I begin with the Daily Trust. 101 police killed in 2019. Rivers, Bayelsa, Edo, Kaduna lead. And we have a pictorial representation of the reported cases of police officers killed in 2019 and a comparison with South Africa. And moving on to the blueprint, asset declaration, Serap gives Buhari Oshibajo 72 on the 7-day ultimatum. That's for asset declaration. And then to the business AM, anxiety in Nigerian MFBs as investor apathy mars recapitalization drive. To the front page of the Daily Times, PDP others kick as NERC denies hike in electricity tariff. Say increase in electricity tariff will worsen suffering of Nigerians. Will consult with stakeholders before final decision on review of tariff is effected, NERC. And finally, on the front page of the News Direct, credit to private sector jumps by 14.36% in 1 year to 26.4 trillion naira CBN as leading banks fail December 30, 2019 deadline on LDR. Banks growing LDR responsible, analysts. Gentlemen, I'd like for us to look at the story that has been generating reactions across social media and many Nigerians, and that is the story on the front page of the Daily Times talking about the hike in electricity tariff. There was a report over the weekend that the NERC has increased the electricity tariff by 75%, but now on the front page of the Daily Times, it is saying that they will consult stakeholders before final decision is made. I wonder what your reaction is generally to this report talking about the 75 increase on electricity tariff. One would say this is the year of the increase. We have VAT increase that will be taking effect, and now we are seeing electricity tariff. I wonder what you make of it, Dr. Kayode.
I've been saying it, and I will continue to say it.
That?
Because no matter how, the extent to which a dog barks, the mouth will never have a cut.
Okay.
Not until when Nigerians decide on their own to take the bull by the horn, monitor the government they have put in place, and ensure that they are being given proper, adequate, and appropriate socio-economic well-being. This is what we'll be saying. What am I saying? How much money have we spent as Nigerians on improving electricity in Nigeria since 1999 till date?
Okay.
Put that aside. When this privatization started, some of us were saying, yes, privatization, but don't sell these companies to yourself. Go and take a cursory look at all those people that bought those companies, the discos, the whatever. Go and check out their level of competency. Since they have assumed those companies, go and also find out the people that are working for them and the condition under which they are. Okay. Now, they are now telling us, what government is telling us is that when they have taken our money, then we will pay it back. Because I don't know, when these people came in, they were being given 300 billion naira or so. How did they spend that money? What effect has that money gotten
Translated to
on electricity provision and all that? So what I'm saying is, let them keep on increasing, and I think Nigerians are watching. There will be a time,
meaning
there will be a time when you are pursued that goat that you ate during Christmas. When they pursue you to the wall.
finally went there.
When they pursue you to the wall, and there is no way for that goat to move again, it will turn back. That is when they will know that goat normally have teeth.
But Dotun, it is said that if this increment, some have reacted saying that if this increment doesn't happen, some of these schools will run into bankruptcy, so to speak.
Yeah.
I wonder if you're on the same path with Dr. Daikade, saying that this is not the right thing to do.
You know, when you give businesses to people who don't have capacity to do such businesses, the next thing you hear is bankruptcy, and that's what has happened in this case. Anytime you hear the word privatization in Nigeria or government public-private partnership,
PPP.
Know that the friend of people in power are involved. That has been the practice. If anytime I want to get business for my friend, I introduce PPP so that I can find food for the boys. And that's why you discover that majority of the PPP projects we have never get to see the light of day. And that's exactly what has happened in the electricity sector. Except for people in government, I think there's no one Nigerian who will accept the fact that there's the need for an increase, no matter what the discourse or the gencos are going through.
Whatever the reasons are.
Whatever the reasons are. Because already I think we are burdened. We have paid so much for what we are not using as a people. And at the end of the day, the government comes out to say we have generated megawatts. And you discover that at the end of the day, it's nothing. Nigeria with 200 million people as we speak now, we need about 50,000 megawatts of electricity. We do not have that. And they keep telling you that they want to connect more people to the national grid. And I said it the other time, if you remember, Doctor, that Nigerian grid, G-R-E-E-D, will not make the national grid to work.
Benny.
Really?
Yes, it cannot. I'm telling you, because these are the sectors that you see people like former Minister of Power who were hopeful when they assumed office that they were going to turn things around. But the man got into the office, he could not turn even his table around. That's the reality. It has become so complex that people think that now
Is it so complex that over the years, this year we'll be celebrating 60 years of democracy. We have invested so much, yet we cannot get results. Is it so difficult?
Let me tell you this, Vero. Essentially, I wouldn't blame government, too, honestly.
Who would you blame?
I will blame yourself and myself.
Really?
You can see the way I dress this morning. This is going to be my toga for this year. Rolling up our sleeves to get to work. Nigerians have got to roll up their sleeves and get to work. Because the moment you don't monitor these people, they keep on treating us this way. We should let government know that we are more enlightened now. We know, like somebody was asking me, why should I use national anthem while doing a national broadcast? I said, look, do you even know your constitution at all? Do you know the difference between national anthem and national coat of arms? There are different things. So they should know now that most of us, we have constitutions. We have the constitution in our hands. And we have been educating people to also have constitution in their hands. All right? Now, the moment you have that, you will know your rights, your duties, your obligations. It is the duty of government to provide this as much as they are using our money.
I think also, now, Veronica, with the question you asked the other time, 60 years as a nation, I think it's high time we began to think of alternative sources, and that's where I'm going to. Instead of having to connect more people to the national grid that is not working, the government should begin to think at all levels of how they can disconnect people from the national grid, not connecting more people. By, yes, through alternative sources. If you recognize community with agreed potentials, for example, you don't need to put them on the national grid. You can actually, within the capacity of the community, you can generate, like we have in some universities now. We have about 2-3 universities now that are being powered with solar. So we should begin to think of alternative instead of having to wait for discos who are seemingly dancing disco in a nightclub. You know, you don't need light in a nightclub, really.
The papers now, see what the headlines are this morning.
One day you won't say I shouldn't use the facility that you are using. Like health facility. I'm not saying traveling abroad.
No. Dr. Kennedy, my hands are not there. Please. All right, let's start from Daily Trust right now. Daily Trust is where we begin from. And it says 101 police killed in 2019. Rivers, Bayelsa, Edo, Kaduna lead the states with the number of the number of killed police that were killed on line of duty. Daily Trust, that's what it is. From there to Blueprint. Blueprint is talking about asset declaration. Serap gives Buhari Oshibajo, 72 others, 7-day ultimatum to declare their assets. Okay, fine. I guess this will interest Nigerians to talk about as we get along. From there, let's go to Business AM. Anxiety in Nigerian microfinance banks as investor apathy mars recapitalization drive. Okay, that's in business there. The Daily Times is where we go next. Now, PDP others kick as NERC denies hike in electricity tariff. Say increase in electricity tariff will worsen suffering of Nigerians. Will consult with stakeholders before final decision on review of tariff is effected. NERC is clarifying on this. News Direct is where we go next now. News Direct, which is the last paper for this morning. Credit to private sector jumps by 14.36% in first year to in year one to 26.4 trillion naira. As the CBN revealing that. As leading banks fail December 30, 2019 deadline on LDR. Banks growing LDR responsible. Analysts are saying that that's in core business issues in there. All right, gentlemen, the issue on the blueprint that talks about asset declaration is what we'll be looking at right now, and he's saying that Serap gives Buhari Oshibajo, 72 others, 7-day ultimatum to declare their assets. The laws states that certainly all public officers will declare their assets, but where we always have issues is whether to make it public, declare it so that Nigerians can have it on TV or on the papers to say, okay, the president has so amount of money in his account, in this bank, in that bank, in bank A, B, C, D, and has this house in 3 different places, has plots like this, that is what this or what that. Now, that confusion has always been coming where a lot of chief executives declare their assets, but when they are not made public, is that supposed to be a contravention of the standards? Dr. Kayode, let me start with you on this one.
Yes. When you're talking about declaration of assets, what is the essence of that declaration?
Accountability and transparency.
Sure. And then when you are now looking at accountability and transparency, to what extent should it be? Should there be a level, or should it just be open, or should it be open-ended? So I think when you are supposed to declare your assets, you should let everybody know. I want to know before my President Muhammadu Buhari got there as the president, how many cows was he having?
Which he did in 2015 when he came in.
Now, it's now 2019, 2020 now, towards 2023. I want to be able to know how many cows is he now having. Is he now having a house in Daura, which he was not having before? Is he now having in Abuja, which he said he was not having before? Or is he now having in London, which he said he was not having before? Without him making it public, how will I be able to do such an evaluation? So to me, I want to believe what Serap is saying is Nigeria needs to get out of this economic doodrome. How do we get out of the economic doodrome? It's by monitoring how our Commonwealth is being dispensed among these leaders, and what are the parameters to be used. The parameters include what what was your worth
when you came
when
in?
you came in? And what is your worth
now
when you are going out?
All right.
Vis-a-vis your salary,
Okay.
Remuneration
Yes.
that you were
For that
collecting.
period of
For
time.
that period of time.
Okay, now let me bring Dr. in.
Yeah.
Now the issue there is, the system, the laws have made provision for the code of conduct to whom you make all this asset known to.
Yeah.
There are forms that you have to fill to tell them what you have and what you don't have, what you intend to have. In fact, there are some times where you are paying for some things installmentally. All of those things should be made public, and which means the code of conduct has all of those things. They make verification to ascertain the truth or the fact of what you were saying. Now, if any chief executive has done that, but has not put it on the media, is that a contravention of?
It is not. It is not. What the Constitution actually, what the law requires of you is to go to the code of conduct and make declaration. The law does not stipulate that you come to the media to tell them that this is what I have. Because the law expects the code of conduct to actually do the needful.
All right.
To monitor the process of your financial growth or whatever growth in the period that you are in the office, and make appropriate sanction at the end of it if you contravene or
If there are infractions.
If there are infractions.
All right.
But again, you should know that Nigerians will like to forward too much. We like to, and that's what the setup. That's what the setup. Yes, that's what we did. Hold on, sir. Let me make my point. That's what the leadership of the nation did when they were coming on board.
Okay.
Bring in the issue of Onoge.
They said.
Bring in the issue of Onoge.
said-
No, let him drop. Let him
Would
drop.
you allow me
Let
make
him
my
land.
point,
Yes.
sir?
Yeah.
They said that they were going to make their asset declaration public. It was their promise, not a burden of the Constitution or the law.
Okay.
And they made it public at that point in time. So now, if you made it public at that point in time, you should know what the expectation of the Nigerian people will be. It was not the law that forced you to say you will make it public. You were the one that said, oh, to show to people that you are
I am transparent, I am honest.
I'm honest, I am making it public. But now it is now that they need it more. Not then, because they want to be able to track how much you've got between 2015 and 2019.
Now, okay.
So I do not expect that if you came out in 2015 to say that you were going to make it public, I do not expect that we will now be raising prayer point to force you to make it public in 2019.
But let me quickly make a correction there.
Okay.
When you're talking about whether it should be made public or not, look at the issue of Onoge, whereby it was claimed that Onoge submitted a particular item to CCB. But CCB came the other time and I said, look, these are the things that were submitted and this one were not there. And they were now trying to now make clarifications on it. It was a go back and forth of a thing.
Issue.
So the issue is for us to have appropriate declaration so that there won't be any kind of argument. Because why are you making the declaration? It is because of the people you are governing. Do you understand? So we too, we want to know. Look at what happened to Obama.
If
Yes.
I
Look
trust
at what
my
happened to
system,
Obama.
Yes, but isn't that the responsibility of any other Nigerian who wants to know? You can
And that
invoke,
is where-
you can invoke
that
the
is
freedom
where
of
the
information Act.
FOI is.
Exactly.
And that is what Serap is doing. And I hope that CCB will not deny them in that.
No, but CCB has never denied anyone.
Anyone.
If you come with that
no,
request,
no,
certainly
there have been instances.
Okay.
It might not be CCB.
Okay.
There have been instances whereby we need an information as regards a public officer,
All right.
and Nigerians have been denied.
no problem. Write that application with invoking freedom of information.
Well, let us see what is going to happen
If
in
it
the
is
next 7
denied,
days anyway.
Let us know. Certainly, we'll follow it up
Let's
on
see what
that.
is going to happen in the next 7 days anyway.
It's okay. Dr. Adayakayode, thank you for coming on
My
the program.
pleasure.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Dr. John, thank you
Mike,
so
it's a
much.
pleasure.
Right.
Yeah.
You're watching TVC Breakfast, and we are streaming live on YouTube. You can also connect with us on Twitter using the hashtag TVC Breakfast.